When you picture the Great Depression, one of the most haunting images is of hobos, men, and sometimes even boys, who had lost everything and took to the rails in search of work, food, or just survival. But while hopping a freight train may sound adventurous, the reality was far harsher. These men often faced freezing nights with nothing but the clothes on their backs. So how did hobos survive the deadly cold nights on the rails? Let's take a journey back in time and uncover their desperate yet ingenious survival tactics. Clothing was the first line of defense. Hobos rarely owned more than the clothes on their backs, but they became masters of layering. Old newspapers and rags were stuffed under shirts to trap body heat. Some wrapped themselves in discarded burlap sacks or patched up overcoats scavenged from trash heaps. It wasn't elegant, but every layer counted when the frost set in. Hobos rarely spent every night on a moving train. They often camped near rail yards in makeshift camps known as hobo jungles. At night, fires were the difference between life and death. Hobos would gather scrap wood, coal chunks fallen from trains, or anything that would burn. A circle of men huddled close, swapping stories and coffee boiled in tin cans, was more than just survival, it was community. Without these jungle fires, many would never have made it through the coldest months. One of the stranger tricks was using ashes or even coal cinders as insulation. After a fire died down, hobos sometimes scooped the warm ashes into old cloth sacks or wrapped themselves in coats dusted with the residue. It sounds dirty, but it trapped warmth surprisingly well and gave them a few more precious degrees against the cold night air. The most sought-after spot on a train was an enclosed boxcar. Unlike the open flat cars or dangerous undercarriages, a boxcar at least cut off the wind. But space was limited, and hobos often had to fight or bargain for a place inside. Once in, they would push crates or hay bales together to block drafts, and if lucky, curl up on a straw-lined floor instead of frozen steel. It may sound simple, but huddling together saved countless lives. 2 or 3 men pressed shoulder to shoulder could conserve body heat through the coldest stretches. There was an unspoken rule: survival over pride. Rivalries could wait until the morning. On the rails, a body next to yours could mean waking up alive. Resourcefulness was key. Hobos often built tiny stoves from discarded tin cans, poking holes for airflow and burning scraps of wood or paper inside. The little contraptions gave just enough warmth to take the edge off a frigid night and could even heat a small meal. A man with a tin can stove became popular fast, others would share food or protection in exchange for a spot near the warmth. When the ground was frozen solid, hobos used cardboard as insulation. Laid under the body, it stopped precious heat from leaching into the earth. Newspapers doubled as both blankets and insulation. Some called it poor man's down, because it worked almost like feathers in trapping air and keeping heat in. Perhaps the most important survival tool wasn't physical at all, it was community. Hobos created codes carved or chalked onto fences, barns, and posts to warn each other where it was safe to sleep, where food might be found, or where police were hostile. These symbols, invisible to outsiders, acted like a secret language of survival. Knowing where to find warmth or shelter often meant the difference between freezing and living to ride another day. Even with all these tricks, many did not make it. Frostbite, pneumonia, and sheer exhaustion claimed lives every winter. But the fact that so many endured is a testament to human resilience and the will to survive, even in the bleakest conditions. The story of how hobos survived deadly cold nights on the rails is not just about hardship, it's about resourcefulness, community, and grit. They made fires from scraps, blankets from newspapers, and homes out of rattling steel boxcars. Against the odds, they endured nights that would have broken many of us today. During the 1930s, tens of thousands of Americans became hobos. With no homes and no steady work, they traveled from town to town aboard freight trains. The problem was, trains cut across remote countryside and mountains where temperatures plummeted at night. Cars were made of steel, turning them into giant iceboxes. A man caught unprepared could easily freeze to death before the train reached its next stop.